This is Courtney,
And this is Kelsie.
and we're Pen Pals.
Hey guys, welcome back to episode 12. We're back at it again. And this episode, we wanted to talk all about how to be confident, how we grown into more confident people, more confident women, how we've blossomed, as someone could say, but how we've blossomed and grown into hot, confident, 30, flirty, and thriving. Just kidding, we're not 30 yet, but we have life experiences that have made us more confident. So we wanted to get into that and talk about that, because I definitely have not felt confident my whole life at all. And I don't know, maybe some people are born with confidence, some people just have it. I don't know. What do you think, Kelsie?
No, I think that your confidence, I wouldn't say I'm the most confident person, but I do think it improves. I do think it improves over the course of your life. But I also think, I don't want to be morbid, but I feel like the older you get, you're like, well, I have less time left. I'm doing this. I don't care what you think. Like, level confidence coming up too.
Yeah, that's true too. That's true as well. And I feel like kind of as you get older, it's like been there, done that. It's like you've kind of like, I don't know. I feel like there's also like types of people that like you're just gonna keep meeting over and over again in a way. Like things like are less likely to like throw you for a curveball, and you've had so many like life experiences up until this point that make you like the confident person that you are, because you're not just starting out just from nowhere with work, with friends, dating, whatever. So that's actually the three pillars. I'm calling them the three areas of confidence that I thought would be good to talk about. So first, I want to talk about like friendships and how I became confident in making friends and within my friendships and stuff. And for me, I used to really struggle with like making friends and feeling like I had good solid friendships in middle school and high school. I don't know, like I think also a big part of it is like in elementary school, middle school, high school, even college for some people, like you have a set group of people that like you have to go to class with, you have to, like experience prom with, you have to, well, you don't have to go to prom, but like, you have to like have these experiences with these set amount of people, unless like your family moves, you move schools. And so I think like I don't know, it just like you don't have that kind of like choice, and so you kind of almost in a way, like especially when you're younger, like you might feel the need to kind of like fit in, like feel like you have to fit in sort of thing. And I feel like that for me like made me almost feel like this is like a bad mindset, but like it made me almost feel like, I don't know, I just never really clicked with people so great in middle school and high school. And so like I just felt like, okay, I just have to like accept whatever I could get, basically. Like I'm gonna have to be friends with these people, or I'm gonna have like no one to sit with at lunch, no one to go to prom with, or whatever. And so like maybe they're not going to be a great friend to me, but like I have to just like take it. That's a really bad mindset, and I would not recommend that to anyone. But
I think too,
how do you feel?
No, I grew up in Iowa. I grew up my whole childhood in the same town, and that's all you know. That's the people, the way the people around you act, the way the lifestyle, just everything. Like you're a kid, that's the way you grew up, that's all you know. You haven't been introduced or exposed to other lifestyles, different types of people. So I think that mindset makes sense, and I think if you don't know what else is out there in the world, you can be so hard on yourself because you're like, I don't fit in here. But there are other places that you could fit in. And so I think just being exposed, growing up, being in different experiences, moving for me was very impactful for sure. And I've talked about this again and again in tons of episodes that I've always wanted to work in entertainment, which you have to be in a big city to do. So I always knew like there was something big out there for me. I wasn't surrounded by people who had the same goals as me at all. And so when I got to college and was surrounded by creative people who wanted to work in television, who were super excited about it, it got me even more excited about it. And college friendships, I guess that's probably why the reason why college friendships are so strong, I think, too, is because you are bonding over similar hobbies. You do have a similar mindset. You have the same goals. You both chose that school because and chose your major because you have that in common. You have the same mindset. You both want to be there. So you have a lot more in common with people because you get to choose where you want to be.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that was like the big turning point for me, where it was like for the first time I like chose all of my friends out of a big pool of like 50,000 people I could be friends with at Penn State and stuff. And we talked about that in our Penn State episode, why we wanted to like go to Penn State and like have a big school like that. And so I think it was like for the first time I was able to like choose who I wanted to be friends with. I dove into the TV stuff that I was really interested in, and then like I met similar-minded people. That's how we met at our sketch comedy TV show we were both doing. We're both having fun. We're trying to try new things and be with people that had similar mindsets and stuff. And so that's like kind of the advice I would give, like looking back at it with someone in their 20s. Like, it's really hard in middle school and high school. Sometimes you're kind of stuck and you're learning who you are. And so it's really hard. But I feel like once you're out of that and you could go to college, meet new people, or even not go to college and move anywhere and meet new people, find something that like you're interested in, surround yourself with people who are interested in the same thing, because likely they'll have like a similar outlook on life, a similar passions, things they find funny, things they find like fun to do. Like, so really just dive into that instead of sinking into yourself and being like, I just like am not good at making friends. I'm not, like really try your best to go to the positives of what you're excited about, what you're passionate about, instead of like sinking into yourself and being like insecure about yourself, because it's not about you really ever. It's really never like about you as a person. Oh, you're so hard to make friends with or be friends with. So really try your best not to get into that negative mindset.
I agree. And I think too, high school was a really hard time for me. I left high school early. I think I've mentioned that in a previous episode as well. But high school, I think when you're there, it feels like it lasts forever. Like your whole life has been school. It's been the same people. It's been structured. It just feels like that's what life is. And it's so crazy when you're done with school and like there's a whole world out there that you knew nothing about and that you're about to experience. It's I don't know, for anyone that's going through that right now, there is definitely something completely and drastically different headed for you soon. At least that was what I thought. It just seemed like it was almost overwhelming to an extent, because you're like, I have all these opportunities, all these people around me, and when you're focused on what you like and you're truly being yourself, you're going to find people who are the same way and who appreciate you for how you really are, and I think that's how you make friends.
Yeah, I completely agree. And sometimes, that could be hard in high school with, like, the limited pool of people. So, exactly, like, just know that there's more out there for you, like, if you're ever stuck in that situation. And so that's what I would say to myself looking back. And to also, like, look for friends that, like, support you and, like, are truly happy for you and, like, don't gossip and, like, live for the drama like that. I mean, some people maybe like that, but like, if someone's gonna gossip to you about someone else, they're gonna gossip about you to someone else as well. And so know that.
It's just it's who they are. It's gonna happen to you. So I am like the least dramatic. I don't like confrontation. I don't like drama. I'm very much an introvert in that sense. So any sight of that, I'm like, okay, goodbye. I'm gonna go over here.
Yeah. And that's why we're friends too. I think we like both like just talk about like what we're interested in stuff. We never talk about like other people or like stuff like that. So yeah.
No.
We just talk about what's going on in our lives and all of that. And I think also, like, I've come to realize, like, we're both similar in this way. Like, I, like, joke with my boyfriend. I'm like, I have, like, one friend, and that's Kelsie. Like, I just have, like, one singular friend. But, hey, I'd rather have one best friend like Kelsie than a million friends that talk behind my back and, like, are just like, you know, so
that's so sweet. I saw a TikTok video the other day and I thought it was so funny because I'm the exact same way. This is me. It was a mom and she had her little, I think it was like a kindergartner. It was like a 4 or 5 year old kid. And she said, what do you say if someone comes up to you at school and says they're your mom's friend and they're here to pick you up? Oh. And the kid goes, my mom doesn't have any friends. You're a liar.
That's so funny.
And I was like, that's going to be my daughter. No, it's just funny.
Me too. Me too, my future kids. Yeah. So it's funny. I think it is really getting comfortable with that as well. That comes more with age, I would say,
for
like,
sure.
as well. And I think, like, kind of, like, in high school, you kind of feel like you do need to have, like, certain amount of friends, like, in high school to, like, do those activities with. But after that, like, who cares? And even in high school, who cares? Like, too. So, like, yeah, really, like, you only need, like, one good friend, and that's it. You're lucky if you have that. And yeah, I think we should probably do a whole other episode about friendships. I think that'd be fun.
There's a lot to talk about there. I think, and I wanted to bring up too that, because a lot of people have said this, like, I've noticed that the older you get, the less friends you have. And I don't think it's because you're more boring or you're uncool. It's because you realize what's important in a friendship, what is important, like what type of people are important to prioritize. And I think too, at least from my experience, I spend a lot of time at home with my husband. I think once you get in a relationship as well, you do everything with them. And then I've had a child, so I spend a lot of time with her too. So prioritizing friendships, I only want to prioritize people that I really care for and that I have a good relationship with. So I think that's the confidence as well. You form strong bonds with people who like you for who you are, that you have a good relationship with, and those are the ones you want to prioritize, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think just, like, putting your energy into people that, like, don't reciprocate it fully back to you, or, like, don't, like, prioritize, like, you or your feelings, or, like, are supportive of you, or kind of, like, I don't know, I hate when people do this and, like, make, like, little, like, backhanded compliments or, like, digs to, like, undermine you. Like, I do not have time in my life for that at all. So if you're gonna do that, like, I'm not gonna be your friend. I do not have time for that. So,
and women are worse about it too. I'll talk to my husband about it. Like, over the years, maybe something like that's happened to me, and I'll tell my husband, and like, guys are just like, tell it as it is. We don't care. Like, they don't get it. But women do sometimes have those little things. So you got to be careful finding good girlfriends, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes, like, transitioning to my next pillar of confidence in work and professionally and stuff, sometimes an overlap, you do have to put up with a little bit of it, like, with certain coworkers or whatever. But I just try to keep work, and, like, you know, we're not gonna be friends outside of this and stuff, but just, like, try to keep it very, like, above, like, and just be professional if that ever, like, happens. It doesn't usually too much for me or anything, but, like, just if it ever happens, I just, like, blow it off, like, let it blow over my shoulder sort of thing. But yeah, another thing that I've had struggled with getting confidence in is like work and kind of like feeling like I could do a good job and stuff. And I think like this kind of started like, well, or something that also raised my confidence was when we did our student television group at Penn State. We both had like leadership positions, and that was really stressful at first, but I think in that situation, like, it's just that situation, I think it is good to fake it till you make it at first if you have like a leadership type position. What do you think?
I think it was good practice of just fully immersing ourselves into that type of job. And it's fun because college teaches you the technical aspects. They teach you how to report on camera. They teach you to write. Like, you know, you're very well-rounded, which is everything we were doing in a leadership position and trying to teach other people to do. But it is funny because after you graduate, I feel like you don't really do every aspect anymore. You're really focused more on one thing. So if there is something you're not good at, then I think it can be really daunting because you're like, oh no, I'm not gonna, you know. And then I think once you work a little bit and understand things through internships or your first jobs and stuff, you do gain more confidence over that. And because I think your first job out of school too, or internships, I think they're really nerve-wracking because it's an unfamiliar territory and you're gaining that confidence over time. And once you get promoted and work your way up and find what you're good at, and then people giving you compliments at work or your boss thinking you're doing an awesome job, or incentives, I think that gains and helps build confidence. But it can be really hard in a job that you don't enjoy or you don't feel like you're good at. I think that can be like really detrimental to your confidence as well. But there's so many things out there for people to do. Everyone's good at something. You just have to find it. And I think when you do, it's just so like liberating, you know?
Yeah, I've just been having such a hard time with like overthinking things with work, and I've just like
I'm the worst.
I've just like fallen into this trap of like needing compliments from like my bosses or like people that are like directly above me that I'm working with, and like I need them to give me a compliment or else I think I'm doing a terrible job. And that is just such a dangerous, horrible mindset to get in. That like I had this like one project, and I think I even like texted you after this, like I had this like one project, and like it finished and it went really well. All went really well. I did a really great job, and no one said thank you to me or said I did a good job, and usually they do and stuff, but you know, it depends on the person. And I was like so distraught. I was like, I did this for nothing. Like, this is just like crap. Like, I did this for nothing. No one says thank you to me or anything. Like, what am I doing this for? And I just like went into like a horrible like headspin of like mind space, and I really had to like sit with myself, and I like googled how to stop seeking reassurance from your colleagues and stuff. And I just think I developed, like, I don't know, my job has been stressful, and I think I've just developed this like kind of like not people pleasing, but a little bit of people pleasing and a little bit of like constantly needing reassurance. And I learned that I'm kind of doing the like needing reassurance, needing compliments like from a task when I first started, basically. So like I'll go like above and beyond because I'm like, they'll tell me I did such a good job. They'll tell me like, whoa, you went above and beyond. Whoa, you did so great and stuff. And I like set out from the beginning doing that. And I just have to like stop and just do things to the best of my ability just because I want to do things to the best of my ability, but not like stretch myself so far because I'm like, if I do it, I'm going to get a big gold star. Like, that just doesn't happen. And like, yeah, people should appreciate you at your work and they should tell you you did well and you should get the accolades and stuff, but they're not always going to do it. So don't like expect it. If you get it, great. If you don't, like, don't let it ruin your day. I let it ruin my whole like weekend like a month ago, and like that's just like, I think that also comes with being confident too, is like stopping yourself and learning and reflecting and growing from it and stuff, so that like you don't get derailed by not receiving a compliment and stuff like that. It's just too much to put yourself through.
Well, I think we all want to know that we're doing a good job, you know, like having that reassurance and like, because we know we're doing a good job, but for someone on the outside to tell us that we're doing a good job as well, it's like, oh, all this hard work, I've been proud of myself, it's actually getting noticed, and I'm working towards something, and people are appreciative of that. So I can totally see that mindset, and it is hard because you put so much, I think when you're doing a job you really like too, you're proud of your work, you're passionate about it, you put everything you have into it, and you and we get along really well too because we're both perfectionists, I think. And having that mindset and understanding people who have that mindset and people understanding me has like made all the difference, because I put everything I have into something and I want it to be the best, and when someone says, like, oh, I appreciate that, or that was amazing or something, you're like, it was worth it. Like, I'm proud of my accomplishments. But you have to be proud, too, of yourself, which does stem from confidence as well. And it's hard, you know? Yeah. It's just hard. And I think that gets easier with age, and there are times where I believe in myself and I'm proud of myself and I know I'm doing the right thing, but there are still other instances where I'm like, I don't think I can handle this, I don't think I can do this, and trying to push myself through those points in my life and being like, whether it's professionally or personally, like, you can do this, you have to have the confidence to do this. And also, like I mentioned earlier, I think getting older and realizing, like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna risk it because it's something I want to do. I don't have much time left. I'm sounding like I'm super old, but I saw I saw a post recently of a guy giving it was like top 10 tips that successful people live by, and one of them, and I know it sounds really morbid, but one of them was reminding yourself of your mortality, because if you realize everything can be taken from me at any moment, you're gonna go after it, and you're gonna trust yourself and believe that you can do it because it's something that you really want. It's what is going to fulfill your life, and you can go at it with full force. If you're in the mindset of, oh, I don't think I can do this, I'll try some other time, like, you're just not. And I know they always tell us this, but you are gonna fail at things you won't know until you try, and so you just have to have that confidence to go after it. And I thought that was a really interesting and dark perspective, but I think it can help push you to that point that you need to be at. But it does, I think, come with age. I've heard people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond say that those are the best decades of their life because they've finally feel like themselves, they found who they are, they're confident in who they are, and even though people are scared of aging, you're learning more, like you said, from experiences, and just being more proud of who you are, and knowing that, oh, I've tackled this in the past and I've done an amazing job, I can do this now. You have that experience underneath you.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say as well, like, knowing that you have that experience, knowing that, like, sometimes I just have anxiety with day-to-day in my job of, like, if I'm going to be able to handle certain things, and I have to remind myself, like, I am here for a reason. My boss hired me for a reason. They wouldn't have hired me if I wasn't qualified, or they didn't see I had enough experience. And my experience, I didn't just plop here, like, out of magic. Like, we won our college Emmy before this. We did all that in college. I had internships and jobs before this and stuff. And, like, I've had lots of experience before this that has, like, primed me for, you know, what I'm facing now in my job and whatever else I want to accomplish professionally. So it's hard. It's hard, especially when, like, your job can get super stressful or you want to try something totally new. But just like you said as well, just, like, remember where you've been before and what you have done up until this point, because what you're doing right now, you wouldn't have been able to do 5 years ago. And, like, just know how far, like, you've come and what you've accomplished, and taking time to recognize that and, Yeah, I think that's
And
important.
celebrating that. Like, that was a good point that you made. Like, you deserve to be there. They chose you in that position for a reason. And I think sometimes when we approach jobs or approach interviews, it's so scary because the other person is interviewing you, but you want to make sure that you're a good match for them as well. You have to realize that you have that power, and they chose you for a reason, and they know that you will do the job, and you are the best person for the job. So I think having that level of confidence and that vote from somebody else can help push you as well.
Yeah, for sure. And that, what you said there, like when you're on an interview, like making sure you're a good match for them as well, that actually brings me to the next topic of like dating and relationships, of like confidence, because I talked about in a bunch of episodes like how I've done the dating apps and whatever, and I would go on a bunch of dates, and like I got myself into a really bad mindset. I think I talked about this in our Valentine's episode. I got myself in a really bad mindset where I was just like going on all these dates, and I just like would go on them like, and I just like wanted them to like me, and I would want to get to the first, second, third date and stuff. But like, I think also being confident in dating, you have to switch your mindset so that like you're going on the date and you're the boss doing the interview, or and like you're like have to make sure you're a good match with them as well. If you don't like them, then kick them to the curb. Well, don't kick them to the curb, but like you don't need to put yourself through it, especially with like dating apps. It's all so fast. And it's not like whatever. So I think that's important with dating. Yeah.
And you want to be yourself too, because you are going to spend every minute of the rest of your life with this person. You're going to go through highs and lows, and it's all about who do you want to have by your side for those moments. They have to appreciate you for you. So having the confidence to be yourself, I mean, that should be your priority, because if they find out you're somebody else, a few years in, it just can cause turmoil there. So it's just about, and also like vulnerability, obviously, in a like romantic relationship, showing actually who you are. You have to have that confidence in the first place. And like the quote people say all the time, you have to love yourself before you love someone else. And I think you have to, just to be able to show your true colors in a sense. And you want somebody to love you for who you are, not for who you're pretending to be anyway.
Yeah, you have to love yourself before you can love anybody else. But also, if you're like struggling to love yourself, or like really having confidence issues like with dating, like build up your life around dating. Like, don't make dating like your end all be all of your life. Like, if I don't have a boyfriend, like I don't have anything, or if I don't have a girlfriend, or vice versa, or whatever. Like, make sure like you have like your friends around you, your family if you're close to them, like an environment you like living in, a job you like, a school you're doing, whatever you're doing. Like, make sure you have like people around you that like boost you up and you hang out with, and like you could have a good time with, and you have like goals that you're trying to reach. Like, don't make dating be the whole center of your life and stuff. Like, make sure you have other stuff going on that you focus on, that's like, if you had a bad date, whatever, you return to your life that you're happy with and stuff. So I think it's also like, if you're really struggling to be confident and you don't know where to start, like build up your life around dating to make sure that you're ready for that. Because dating is hard too. There's a lot of rejection as well.
Well, sure. And I think for friendship too, like we were saying, if you surround yourself with things that you like, go after the hobbies, like the friends will come, the relationships will come, people who have the same interests as you. And speaking from experience, love always finds you when you're least expecting it, I think too. And if you're focused on something that you're really passionate and excited about, and you're happy with your life, I think that makes you even more attractive to other people in a sense, because I think you want to be around people who radiate joy and happiness, and who feel fulfilled and can make you feel happy and fulfilled as well. I mean, nobody wants to be hanging out with someone who's just has a horrible outlook on it, and and just shuts everyone out. That's, you want, just live your life and everything else comes. And I know that kind of comes with age too, because I was in college stressed out about what's going to happen after graduation. What job am I going to get? Where am I going to end up? All this stuff. And just going back and trusting that things do work out the way that they're supposed to. And you just got to go after what you want. And your own little world is created because of it, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said with friends, like look for common interests more so instead of like
exactly
seeking a significant other. Like look for common interests and like what you guys have in common and common values. And then I also wanted to talk about like when you are in a relationship of like having confidence in your relationship. Like I think that's different for everyone and stuff. But I did want to say, like, I think it is important to not bring, like, your past traumas or annoyances from, like, your exes, like, into your new relationships. Like, if you had, like, a past boyfriend that, like, cheated on you, don't go in there assuming that your new boyfriend is going to cheat on you, because that's just kind of, like, that's really hard. But that just kind of, like, brings that energy with you. So I would say, one, don't bring your like past traumas with you. Don't assume that your new boyfriend, your new significant other is the same as your ex. And then also like make sure like the foundation of your relationship is trust, that like you do trust each other and you do feel like confident with each other. You don't need to check to see where they're at or what they're doing or whatever. I think like if you don't trust them, like everything else is just going to crumble and stuff. So I think, you know, having trust, not bringing in your past traumas are a good place to start with the relationship. And then whatever you want to do from there that makes you happy in a relationship, you do from there. But yeah, what do you think?
No, exactly. You have to have confidence in your relationship too. For sure. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So all relationships are different. So I'll leave it up to you guys of like what makes you feel confident in your relationship and stuff. But I think, you know, having common interests, having trust with each other are a good place to start. And so I think that's pretty much what we wanted to talk about with confidence in this episode, but we wanted to end with, as we do with every episode, of what we're watching, but instead we want to talk about what we're watching to boost confidence. So so these are our suggestions if you're in need for a confidence boost. So Kelsie, what would you go for?
The first one I would say is Yes Man with Jim Carrey, because the movie is about a man who decides that he's just going to say yes to anything he's asked to do. And it really breaks him out of his shell, and he tries a lot of new things. And I think that it will kind of inspire you to do. Obviously, you need to have limits and you need to say no to things, but to kind of push yourself just a little bit out of your comfort zone each day, because that's when all the exciting things do happen. So that's the first one I would say. And the second one is Bruce Almighty. I was thinking about that movie this morning. Also with Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
That is one of my favorite movies of all time. I've seen it a million times. I just think it's so great. And it's a very, I think, humbling movie about how much power a person really does have. And the biggest power of all that you can have is free will, and how much power that you have over your own life by being able to decide what you do with it. So I think that's a really inspiring movie. But really any Jim Carrey movie gets you in your spirits, but those are my
good idea. Those are really good. Yeah, I was thinking about Jim Carrey movies. That's really good.
So great.
For me, for movies, I said Legally Blonde. I mean, low-hanging fruit there, I guess. But I love Legally Blonde. I mean, she says, she sets out for something, and she goes, and she gets it. And she doesn't let any stupid people tell her that she can't do what she wants to do, and she just really goes for it. And she I really appreciate the confidence that she has in herself and that she just goes and sets out for what she wants. So I think that's really important, and it's a really good feel-good movie as well. So I definitely would recommend that. A classic, bringing it back to the early 2000s.
Like, law school,
what?
Like, it's hard. She's like, I'm in law school, like, it's hard.
Anyway. Yeah, exactly.
That confidence.
Yeah, and then another one, another TV show is Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. I feel like I've mentioned that show before as well. I love it. And yeah, I mean, she was stuck in the bunker. She had confidence that she would get out. She remained She had faith in herself, and she didn't lose it. And then she got thrust out into the real world, and she just went for it. She just went for everything she wanted, and maybe she couldn't figure it out, but she learned as she went, and she had the confidence in herself and the faith and the positive attitude to keep going with it. So I really like that show as well. It's funny too. I think funny movies are good for confidence as well, like to just boost you up in that way. But yeah, so that's what I would recommend watching.
They're both so good.
Yeah, thanks. I'll have to watch some Jim Carrey movies too.
Oh, he's the best. I love him. He's so great.
Yeah. Well, anyways, thank you all for listening to us. This was a great episode, and we hope you enjoyed. And let us know if you think we should go further into like any of the topics we talked about, any of my 3 pillars of confidence that I named it in friendship, work, or dating, relationships, any of that, let us know. We have lots of stories. So yeah, thank you again for watching. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Pen Pals Podcast, PENN Pals Podcast on Instagram, and to listen to us on Spotify, Apple, and Google, or watch us on YouTube. So we'll see you next time. Bye guys.